Hey guys, welcome to today's video. In this one, we're going to be going over what I think are the top 3 best loadouts for PvP on Titan. From the information that I provide to you guys, you can make the decision on which one is best for you. Now, depending on how well this video does, I am considering making one for Warlock and for Hunter, but at the moment, Titans are the wave, and even though I find myself quite resilient to strong metas in PvP such as Mountaintop Recluse, I've always kind of stuck to sniping with a hand cannon on a top tree Dawn, but it's gone to the point for me where even I feel like I have to run Titan for endgame PvP. Now, I play more Warlock more than anything. I don't really play much Titan, but I have taken it upon myself to increase my experience on this character, and I've come up with 3 builds that I'm very happy with, and I'm going to be using probably until Lightfall releases. I would assume some things are going to change with the sandbox. Whether that's for better or for worse, we don't really know, but until then, I'm probably going to be playing a lot more Titan than Warlock. So the obvious one that we're going to start with is the build that you see in front of you right now. I call this the Father of 7 Benefits Scrounger loadout. This is the strongest fucking loadout in the game by far. I'm going to go into detail on everything. So the obvious thing that stands out is Titan's Ramparts. These are everywhere at the moment and they are incredibly strong. Assault Barricade. You and your allies can shoot through your towering barricade, which has reduced health and duration. It's incredibly broken, it's incredibly strong, and this is essentially the heart of the build. Now, in order to utilize Titans to the full extent of what they offer, you need to be running 100 resilience for the quickest cooldown possible, and on top of that, you need to pair it with double utility kickstart on your class item. This is a stasis mod, so you will need stasis armor. And utility kickstart, of course, when your class ability is fully expended, you gain class ability energy. 2 of these mods paired with 100 resilience gives you the fastest cooldown for your barricade, so you can pretty much spam these over and over and over again. Resilience being priority number 1. Priority number 2 is discipline, and as you can see, we have 9. Now, ideally, you want 100 resilience, 100 discipline, and then once you've gotten those 2, you want to go into intellect after that. Recovery is not important with this build. Priority number 2, discipline. We're going to be pairing this with storm grenades, which are so incredibly territorial. They're fantastic for points. They're fantastic for enemy sighting barricades and regular barricades. They are the best for controlling certain areas of the map where you don't want people to push, or you want to block people off from pushing, or maybe you chuck this on a res. Storm grenades right now are broken, and of course they have a 1 minute 45-second cooldown, so the more discipline you have, the more grenades you can throw. Now, in terms of the subclass build, I'm going to be running towering barricades, of course. I use strafe lift, using shoulder charge because it's fantastic for movement. Shoulder charge with a shotgun is lethal. If you start a corner, for example, and you pump someone with a shotgun who's quite far away and you want to do a little bit of damage, you can then hit your shoulder charge straight after the shotgun shot and finish them up with the shoulder charge. As for aspects, we're running Touch of Thunder. This buffs our storm grenade. Knockout, which of course has been in the game for a long time. The best way to utilize this is as soon as you do damage with your shotgun, you're best off to hesitate just a little bit, hold back on that melee, and then hit the melee button. Because a lot of times I shotgun a melee instantaneously, and even though knockout procs in the bottom left, I just swing my arm in front of me and then I'm dead. But for those of you who don't know, knockout basically gives you increased melee lunge when you break a combatant's shield. As for fragments, we're using Spark of Resistance, we have Spark of Feedback, Spark of Magnitude, your lingering arc grenades, i.e. the storm grenade that we're using has an extended duration. You can either run Spark of Shock, which I would advise because now and again you do get kills with the jolt, or you can run the fragment that gives you plus 10 intellect. Now, another key feature to this build is no time to explain. Now, like I said earlier, a lot of people in the Crucible are running Titans in trials, in comp, if these are the playlists that you're struggling in, and this is the build that you feel like you need to run in order to compete in those playlists. Let's say you're trying to go flawless or you're trying to grind for legend, you are more than likely going to come across people using this exact same build. So with that being said, you're going to need something to counter the enemy sight and shields. And of course, pulse rifles paired with the seasonal artifact mod anti-barrier pulse rifle are perfect for this. Alternatively, you can use Revision 0, which intrinsically has anti-barrier rounds built in, but overall I feel, as of now, No Time to Explain is the best pulse rifle in the game by far. I say you're in A game of comp, you pop up a Science barricade and you're looking down a lane and they pop a Science barricade. If you have anti-barrier and they don't, you're going to knock their shield down way before they knock yours down. As for my secondary, this is the Matador 64. You can farm this in the Grasp of Avarice, I believe. If you haven't already, please do go grind for this shotgun. It's probably, or arguably, one of the best, if not the best, shotgun in the game right now. It's a precision frame shotgun, and the roll we have right here is almost perfect. We have Barrel Shroud, Accurize rounds, threat detector for that increased handling when enemies are in close proximity, opening shot which gives us an extra 20 range on our first shot of attack. The only thing that would have helped me out here is either a range or a handling masterwork. I think I probably would prefer a range masterwork. Barrels don't really matter too much with the pellet changes. Anything that gives you range and handling is a thumbs up from me. And then as for the mod, we're running quick access sling for that increased pull-out animation speed. Now as for the mods, we're running pulse rifle targeting, shotty targeting. We have the anti-barrier pulse rifle on for the increased damage to Titan barricades. Now we're also running fastball. I would probably say this is an important mod to run with storm grenades. It allows you to chuck your grenades further, and I would say more of it in a straight line rather than a curve. I'm running Powerful Friends because I'm not running Dunes, just to bump my mobility up a little bit so I'm not too much stuck in the mud when I'm trying to sort of strafe a little bit when I'm in a gunfight. On the chest piece, we're running Radiant Light for that plus 20 strength. Unflinching pulse rifle aim. On the legs, we have Quick Charge for the plus 30 handling. We have double invigoration. And then, of course, on the bond, we have double utility kickstart. And we do have high energy fire for that damage buff when one of my teammates pops their super, or I pop my super. Now, I should probably mention as well, T-Crash is a must. And then I'm pretty sure you're going to ask in the comments, as for the drip, here is my transmog page. On to build number 2, and I like to call this the Morality Loadout, because this isn't something that is meta right now, but it's definitely something that I find fun, and like I said, there's a sense of morality when I run this loadout. And there's not a lot to this loadout. The subclass is exactly the same. So we're running the same abilities, we're running the same aspects, and we are running the same fragments as well as the same super. The only difference here is we do not have Sight and Ramparts anymore, we have the Dune Marches. Now this is the loadout that I like to use when I am all over the place in the Crucible. I'm constantly holding W key, I'm sliding around all over the place, I'm going for shotty melee kills, I'm flicking my mouse around trying to get the 3-tap on the guy who's shooting me in the back of the face after I've just shotgunned his teammate in front of me. This is definitely the most enjoyable build for me, is a hand cannon shotty / sniper user. Definitely one of the most enjoyable and most Titan-like builds that I can craft. We're running 100-100, 5-6-6, and I would probably say the two most important parts of this build, aside from the dunes, is having 100 resilience and having 100 recovery. So of course you need 100 recovery, we don't really need to go into that. Having 100 resilience, again, with double utility kickstart, just allows me to spam those barricades when I need to keep myself up so I can carry on with my streak or go on a streak, for example. And it also gives me 201 HP. That makes me the most resilient as possible in PvP. Now, to be honest with you, in 6v6 or let's say comp or trials, if you want to use this loadout, priority number 1 for this build would be recovery instead of resilience, then resilience, and then discipline. So on Titan right now, these 3 stats are pretty much, well, I would say they're the most important. These 3 right here, resilience, recovery, and strength. Now, as for mods, we're running hand cannon targeting, shotty targeting. We have shotgun dexterity for the increased animation speed, as well as quick access sling on my wastelander. We have unflinching shotgun aim, radiant light, quick charge, invigoration, and double utility kickstart along with high energy fire. Very similar to the build I had before. Then the real difference is, of course, we have dune marchers instead of Titans. And for me, hand cannon shotty, it doesn't have to be hand cannon shotty, you can run whatever you want really, pulse rifle, DMT. But this build right here, along with these armor pieces and this exotic, this is definitely the most enjoyable loadout for me to run on Titan. And I guess for loadout number 2, if you're interested in the transmog, here's my drip. On to build number 3. I like to call this the 20-meter SMG Beamer. It's not really important, just gives me a bit of a giggle. A lot of people are running Peacekeepers on Titan right now, especially with the SMGs we have available. Unfortunately, I don't have Taraba, and at this point, I'm actually about 50 spoils away from getting it myself. That's something that I need to do. So for the most part of my experience using Peacekeepers, and probably for the next week or 2 until I get around to farming, I like to use the crafted Ikelos SMG. I've tested a few different rolls on this. Prior to this, I was running full bore and accurized. I think after using this role for a bit, and after someone recommending this to me, extended barrel and seraph rounds are the move. With this role, extended barrel gives me a little bit of range. It gives me 100 recoil direction, so I can increase my emphasis with targeting adjuster. And then seraph rounds over accurized rounds, I think is the go-to, simply because you get 3 benefits with seraph rounds. You get the benefits of ricochet, you get the benefits of armor piercing, and you get the benefited flinch from high caliber rounds as well. So it's kind of like a 3-in-1 perk. I know seraph rounds has been nerfed, but I still feel like it's the move for this SMG in particular. Now we have enhanced killing wind and rangefinder. When you've got killing wind proc, this thing turns into an auto rifle. It's insane, but I would highly recommend going with this role and using this gun with peacekeepers. Now as for the build, we're not on striker anymore. We are on void. The reason why I like to go with void with the peacekeepers is because peacekeepers is one of those builds where you're right on the edge of being shotgunned in like the majority of your engagements. You're just within slug shotgun range. You're just within them sliding at you with a shotgun range. So for me, I like to pop a shield or a barricade before I decide to push in and make a play, which gives me that additional HP, and that's what I get with this build. With void, I get the overshield from my Titan barricade. So running big barricade, we've got strafe lift, shield bash. Again, the shoulder charge is key to Titans right now. And then I like to run suppressor grenade. One, because I don't really use grenades that much, but suppressor grenades for me, it's a way to make my enemies volatile, and it's also there in case I need to try and take somebody out of their super. As for aspect, we're running controlled demolition, and then we've got bastion, and then for fragments, we're running echo of expulsion, echo of leeching, and echo of remnants. Now my build could be a little bit better with peacekeepers. Ideally I'd like 3 100 100 5 8 or 9 5. That would work for me. But we're running 3 mobility. Of course, we get the additional mobility buff when we have our SMG out with peacekeepers, so mobility isn't super important on this class. We have 9 resilience, 100 recovery, 5 discipline, 7 intellect, and 5 strength. Now I would say, aside from recovery, which is obviously the most important here, you want that at 100. I would then prioritize resilience as high as you can, and then after that, intellect, seeing as we're on void. Bubble, of course, has a very low cooldown, and with that low cooldown, you want to increase that cooldown as much as you can by having as much intellect as possible. So for those of you that don't know, peacekeepers are nuts. Reload stowed submachine guns and allows you to ready them instantly, improves your handling with SMGs and your movement while wielding one, provides a moderate benefit to the airborne effectiveness stat of submachine guns. You can pretty much land your headshots fairly easily with this build, or with just these boots alone. Now with the peacekeepers, let's say you spray somebody with the SMG, you switch to your secondary weapon. Within a couple of seconds, your SMG will automatically be reloaded. So try and get into the habit of spraying your SMG, the first guy, turn around, go and shotgun the next guy, or try and go for a snipe, and then you can turn around and switch back to your SMG for the third person, and it's already reloaded for you. That's how you want to use these boots. Now, as for the armor mods, very simple before. We have submachine gun targeting, sniper rifle targeting, submachine gun loader. Although, I guess you could run sniper rifle dexterity, give that a go, seeing as we already have the buff to the SMG from the peacekeepers. We have unflinching SMG aim, radiant light, quick charge for that, again, handling boost to SMGs. A lot of people think it's just for shotguns, but it is shotguns, fusion rifles, submachine guns, and swords that you receive a handling boost to. Then, of course, in the class item, we're running a double utility kickstart and high energy fire for that damage buff. Now, the reason why I have a sniper on instead of a shotgun is because all the players are going to run at us with a shotgun. We're going to be able to handle with our SMG, and with this build being able to sort of sit on the corner with a Titan barricade and an overshield, we have that opportunity to sit back and we can go for picks. We can be that player for our team. Now, if any of you have no idea where to start with making these builds, you don't know what options you have available, the best thing I can recommend is using a website called DIM, which I'm sure you know about, but there's bound to be somebody who doesn't know about it, and another website called Destiny 2 Armor Picker. Now, if you type DIM in Google or D2 Armor Picker, both of those websites are going to come up first time, and I'm going to show you right here exactly what I'm talking about. So DIM, D-I-M, this is my inventory. It shows me everything on my account, from what's in the vault to what's on each individual character. And then at the very top here, if we click on loadouts, we can see for Titan, Hunter, and Warlock, I have a bunch of loadouts saved. For example, right now, this is the loadout that I'm comfortable with and I want to save. At the very top here, it says this is what's equipped. I'm going to click on Save Loadout. I'm going to take off the weapons. I'm going to take off the Ghost Shell, the ship, the Sparrow, and the emblem. So it is the armor and the mods that are saved. And then I'm going to give it a title, and I'm going to click Save. And as you can see, I've done that for my Fallout of 7 Benefit Scrounger loadout, my Morality Loadout, and my 20-meter SMG Beamer loadout. Now, to get these loadouts, I used a website called D2 Armor Picker. And I'm going to show you exactly what I did. I know this may seem very confusing right now, but please do bear with me. The exotic we're going to want to use right here, let's say Sight and Ramparts. We're going to click on Sightings. So you can see we've got that little blue square around. I'm going to scroll down a little bit more. We're going to check Radiant Light, because this gives us plus 20 strength. We're going to click on Arc subclass. Now, the fragments that don't give you any additional boost, a specific stat, won't show here. So we're going to tick feedback, resistance, shock, and then we're using magnitude, which doesn't appear on here. And make sure you tick allow the usage of armor that is not exotic or legendary. And make sure you tick this one right here, assume all legendary items are masterworked. And I guess the second one too, just in case you've got anything in the vault that could potentially contribute towards a really good build. Now what we're going to do, we're going to scroll up. Number 1 priority is resilience, so we're going to click tier 100 resilience. Next, we're going to do a discipline, and then we're going to do a recovery. 100 resilience, 5 recovery, and 9 discipline right here. So there is the build that I can achieve with everything that is on my account. I'm going to click on the drop down menu, copy dim query to clipboard, and it says here I need 2 resilience mods and 3 discipline mods. It also tells me the build, 505, 955, tier 39, which is actually quite bad. I ideally want tier 44, so I'm missing out on an additional 5 bumps here. I'm going to go over to dim. I'm going to go to my inventory. I'm going to paste that in the top. I'm going to click enter. And as you scroll down, you will begin to see the armor pieces that it is telling you to equip. It won't show you a class item because these all do the same thing. The only difference is what mod you put on them. And obviously once you have those equipped, all you need to do is masterwork them, put the mods on, and you're good to go. And that's pretty much it. Make sure you obviously make the loadout, put your mods on, do your fashion, and then save it to your loadout, give it whatever title you want. And before you know it, you've got multiple loadouts saved for whatever you might want to do in PvP. Now, I really hope this video was beneficial to you. Thank you so much for all the support on the recent uploads. The videos as of late have been doing really well. I really do appreciate you guys, and I genuinely hope you're enjoying the content. I just want to say as well, I do stream on Twitch 5 days a week, Friday to Tuesday, starting 10 AM GMT. If any of you guys want to swing by, ask me any questions, check out my live content, you know, the usual stuff. And of course, if you found this video helpful and you want to see more stuff like this in the future, especially for Warlock and Hunter up until Lightfall, we're about to go crazy in Lightfall, by the way. Please do consider dropping a sub on the channel and letting me know what you think of this video in the comments down below. And while you're at it, smash that like button. But with all that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one.